Okay, so we're going to have to make a pit stop on this one because I forgot to fill up gas. But I figured we'd do kind of a cool one today because I am at let's see, I believe this is Beloit Road at McCarty Park and Cleveland and Honey Creek Parkway. And I'm going to demonstrate that we can pretty much drive, or ride in this case, on a parkway. So you can kind of think of that as like almost 76th Street. It's like 75th. Well, over there it's probably like 76th, 77th. Anyway, it's like 76th Street. Let's just pretend that. Oh, this guy's going to pass me. Not going fast enough for him. That's okay. And we're going to go pretty much all the way to like, I think 16th Street? No, 20th Street. Being completely on a parkway. Or for the most part, on a parkway. We may have to take a few detours for construction, and obviously to fill up on gas. But yeah, Milwaukee has a lot of these parkways throughout the city, and so does a couple other municipalities around the area. The major ones on the south side would be Honey Creek Parkway, which is what we're on right now. Kinnikinic Parkway, which we'll be on a little bit later. And the Root River Parkway, which is probably the biggest of them all. But yeah, right now, Honey Creek is underneath us. I believe it starts in McCarty Park. If it doesn't start in McCarty Park, it at least goes through it. And where we are now, they put it underground. But they've got these two major medians on either side and frontage roads. So it makes it kind of more park feeling, I guess, for the neighbors. And we're now at 68th Street. We're not far from, just south of us is, the next light there is Oklahoma Avenue. So we're not far from where we normally start these videos. We have a school here. I believe this is Fairview Elementary School. Yep. Goes all the way up till 8th grade. Wow. So still pretty similar. It could be 3-bedroom ranches. Turn there to get to my house. The other nice thing about taking this route is I don't have to go as fast. I can take a little bit more time. Honey Creek is a tributary, I believe. Actually, no, it's not. Honey Creek, I think, goes... I don't know. I'm not going to say anything I'm not completely sure of. So this is Cleveland Avenue, and we could continue on the parkway straight north, but we're going to actually detour here to get to the gas station. And because our goal is to go east and while you can get east on Honey Creek Parkway, the road is closed, I believe, going forward. Alright, let's get some fuel. I didn't even look at what fuel is. $4.29 again. I could see it evaporating. It's that hot out. There we go. Let's try not to get a bunch of gas on the scooter this time. Come on. $3.13. Perfect. That's why I love this thing. I'm going to go back out onto Cleveland. So we're basically picking up right where we left off. We were coming down Cleveland. So we have this little bit of a variance, but we have to in order to get on this side of the Kinnikinic River, because they did it was called the Honey Creek Parkway, but it goes into the Kinnikinic River right over here, I'm pretty sure, because we're about to cross over another creek which goes behind my house, which is Alliance Park Creek, and that feeds into the Kinnikinic River, which is just to our north and runs pretty much east and west. Well, east, I suppose, towards Lake Michigan. And that's what we're going to be following now. Most of these routes are pretty residential, and you'll actually find quite a bit nicer homes that are situated over here because, like I said, it's mostly parkland. It's a warm one today. I think it's almost about 90. Kind of starting to get used to it. Kind of a long light. Almost would have been better off turning right and doing a U-turn. Here we go. Yeah, let this guy pass me. Because we're going to turn left here right away anyway. So we're on Cleveland. If we turn left here on Jackson Park Drive, this is a nice neighborhood in the Jackson Park neighborhood, kind of. Right now we're in White Manor. which is one of the safest neighborhoods as far as like the crime rate is the lowest in the whole city of Milwaukee. And that's the city of Milwaukee, not the metro area. And part of it is because you have a lot nicer homes. And you've got this parkland over here, and everything down that valley there is the Kinnikinic River. It's pretty, I mean, it's not as big as the Milwaukee River by any means, but it's a significant river. It's probably going pretty good right now. We had a decent amount of rain last night and this morning. But yeah, you've got some bigger homes for this area. Oh, talk about safety, there's a police officer right there. Patrolling the creek. And this area, you're going to see it goes for a really long time, but on the other side is probably at least a block or two. Probably a block. At some points it's probably about 2 blocks until you get to the other side. It's all woods, and there's trails down in there to go down by the river. You know, some of the parts where it gets a little bit wider, you have some green areas here. I was walking the other day. It's a little early yet. It's only about 4 o'clock. But there's a ton of people in this little green area walking their dogs. I love that side, but I also love looking at these homes. I overheard one of the residents that was walking their dog mention that there's been coyotes over here. She was talking with another resident that had a also had a small dog, and he said that he also saw some coyotes. So here you are in the middle of this big metropolitan area. We've got coyotes here. We've got, I think I counted one on probably like a 4-mile walk the other day, and I probably saw about 50 rabbits. So here we're back to Cleveland, and we'll turn on Cleveland briefly. So remember, we started at 76th Street. There's a couple of blocks here where we are back in residential, like on both sides, but for the majority of this route, it's parkland until we get to 20th Street. Well, that didn't sound good. So like I was saying, there's a lot of wildlife. I think when I was walking through one of the trails by the river, I saw this huge bird in the tree. I couldn't get a good look at what it was. It was probably a turkey vulture, but it was pretty big. And I've seen hawks. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, these rivers probably aren't big enough for an eagle, but maybe near one of the ponds if there's enough fish in there. But probably not. But you do see a lot of wildlife, even in the city. So here we're now in Jackson Park. See, the pond there is all nice and built up. They struggle right here. They got to figure something out with the water retention right there. I wish I had an idea of how to fix that. I think they would cost a little bit of money if they made, just pretty much need a drainage ditch underneath it, underneath the road. Build it up a little bit. This is a pretty large park. That road that we just crossed was 43rd Street. So we've already gone over 30 blocks, pretty much all being in a park. And now this light is Forest Home Avenue, which goes on a diagonal. It's easy to get disoriented when you're on a twisty road like this. Luckily, I've lived here for half of my life. Well, I've lived in the area for my whole life, but so I know that that road is going northeast. And we're going kind of east. Right now we're mostly going east. Well, kind of southeast. But yeah, this road will continue as a parkway because, like I said, we're following the Kinnikinic River. So the river has to go somewhere, and luckily the city's been doing a good job of reclaiming the riverbeds. What they did in like 60s, 70s, and 80s, I guess, I don't know, it could have been earlier. I think it was like the 60s or 70s, they concreted the riverbeds, thinking that that would help. Here's 35th Street, thinking that that would help with flooding, but instead it made it worse. But a lot of it is still concreted. Behind my house, it's still concrete. But what they're doing now is there's an initiative to reclaim the riverbeds. They obviously can't make them natural again. I mean, they kind of redesign them in a natural-like way with hopes that the river will eventually just do its thing. And they did this in a few areas. They did it down in the Menominee Valley. We did it in a few parks. They're going to be doing it in Jackson Park. But there's a lot of work to be done yet. Right here you can see it's all concrete, which is sad. This is St. Luke's Medical Center. It's the largest hospital in the state by beds. Oh, shift change. And as we get around this corner, this is 27th Street. So you'll see we've gone quite a ways. Basically gone 50 blocks. And we've been in Parkland the whole time. So now we're coming behind one of the Milwaukee Police Departments to our right. Well, and then to our right is Pulaski High School. Well, the backside of it. And another park. I don't know the name of this park, but it contains like all of the Pulaski High School, like the football field, baseball diamond. There's some tennis courts over here, but they don't look like they've been maintained. In fact, the whole park doesn't look like super maintained, but it's not bad. So yeah, we're going to be coming up on, oh, there's an archery range here. Guys practicing archery. That's really cool. Didn't notice that the last time I came this way. But yeah, so then we got all the way to 20th Street. We turn left here. We're going to go towards the city. So yeah, we basically went, 56 blocks? 56 blocks, and maybe 10 of those weren't in parkland. So maybe we went 46 blocks of continuous parkland. It's pretty crazy. And that's just one of the stretches. Just on the south side alone, I think there's like 3 of those. Now, I know they have a similar thing for the Milwaukee River, but it's a little bit more significant going north. But there's a lot of places where there's very large lots on the river north of Milwaukee, like in River Hills and Mequon. But if we continue north this way, it's kind of still parkland on one side because it's a cemetery. But the home value and the home maintenance is definitely diminished. And the lots are a lot smaller. But I would say it just makes it more affordable. It's definitely more urban. You know, the lots are a lot smaller. And this is what we call Lincoln Village. Because we have Lincoln Avenue right ahead of us. We've driven down this way before, and I've mentioned how the bones here are really good. And that side of town struggled for a little while economically, but it's got really good bones, and still a pretty cool street to ride down and just kind of imagine what could be or what was. Now I've got sunglasses on, so it's making it seem like it's fairly dark out right now. I know it's somewhat cloudy out, but this is Wind Lake Avenue. Also goes on a diagonal. I'm hitting every light. Alright, we're now at 13th Street. Interesting to put rims on a CRV. Definitely some interesting characters around this side of town. There's another park. Good amount of people out in the park. Police officers. And we've got one of our basilicas here. I believe it's the only state in the country that has two. Could be wrong. Yep, St. Joseph's. So if we continue on Lincoln Avenue here, well, we're going to have to stop at 5th Street. And just ahead of us is I-94. Like an Italian bakery. And as soon as we cross I-94, we'll be in Bayview. So right now we're in Lincoln Village. One of the cool things about Lincoln Avenue over here, excuse me, well, right now you'll be able to have a good view of downtown. But also we have another division of the Milwaukee Police Department right here, and just beyond that, well, across the street is a park, Lincoln Fields, and then just beyond the police department is another park on this side, along with some railroad tracks at 1st Street then. And just beyond here, on the right, is going to be the urban stables for the Milwaukee horses for the police department. This guy behind me is probably not happy. Alright, so as we take Lincoln Avenue into downtown Bayview, we'll pass Clements. Make sausages. Oh, we're gonna of course have to stop at Howell. This is what I would consider downtown Bayview, where Lincoln, Howell, and Kinnikinic converge. Been through Bayview plenty of times. Well, everybody has a red light right now, it seems. Alright, this intersection kind of stinks, I always think. We're at the end of Howell, but we're going to turn left onto Kinnikinic here. I'm going to lunch with my dad tomorrow, and I'm thinking about taking him over here to this Paloma. Hopefully it's open tomorrow for lunch. I'll have to check on that. A little windy there. Yeah, otherwise, I was thinking maybe a place up here. And the reason for that is because my dad hasn't been on this side of town in quite a while. And I think he'd be shocked by how much it's changed. I mean, I drive this way pretty often now on the scooter, and it still blows me away. And I lived downtown for a while too, so I was like familiar with these neighborhoods. It's just pretty crazy what's happened here in Milwaukee and in the downtown area in the last couple of decades. And it's cool to see. "88 degrees" is what Rockwell Automation is saying. It also says that it is 4:40 in the afternoon. This is Greenfield Avenue, pretty main road. Doesn't go, it's kind of a dead end if you go east though. You get to the lake, well, to the harbor. I suppose you can get to the other side of Walker's Point because there are some railroad tracks right there. No, it says no outlet. I think when you go that way, I think it's just the Freshwater Plaza. I could go down there, I suppose. Not Freshwater Plaza, but the Freshwater, the School of Freshwater Sciences for UWM. They have a boat that I guess docks over there. Ever since the fall, the scooter's been acting a little bit weird, I think. Or maybe I'm just getting a little bit more skittish. I don't know. I've been trying to be a little bit more careful. You can see a train going past. quite a bit more expensive at this gas station here. These are some of the buses that some of the bars use to shuttle people to the Brewer games and to Summerfest. Excuse me. Alright, we are officially out of the Harbor District and into Walker's Point. We spent a good amount of time in Walker's Point in these videos. You do still have access to the harbor in Walker's Point. So that's the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum above Collectivo. Bobbleheads were invented in Milwaukee. And you can get them pretty frequently at the Brewer games for different players and people associated with the Brewers. This is a scary bridge for me to go over usually, especially when it's windy like this.